Hey, my friends, I want to share something today about the adverse impact of not speaking our truth. And this was brought up recently. I was on a call with a friend and client, and he almost never loses a relationship, never loses a client. He lost a client. And we dug into what's the lesson there? What do you think happened? And what happened was that, and this is common for a lot of people, I think, is people don't always speak their truth. We don't always speak our truth. Here's what I mean by that. If you're in a position, regardless of the position really, but how often do we find ourselves, especially if you're a guide, if you're leading people, how often do you see someone doing something that's a mistake? It could lead to adverse impact, but maybe they're an important client and you don't want to ruffle their feathers and you don't speak your truth to that person. You don't tell them what they need to hear. You tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. If you're doing that, if we're doing that, then what that opens the door to have happen is, number one, is we're not going to show up with the same level of certainty, with the same level of magnetism, with the same level of command, with the same level of creating respect. Because deep down we know there's something we should be doing and we're not. And so we're out of alignment with ourselves. And when we're out of alignment with ourselves, people pick up, especially smart people or intuitive people pick up on that. And they won't be able to tell you why something's off. They just know something's off. And so not speaking your truth to your clients, to your team, to your family, to your friends, creates a wedge that in most cases, maybe it's imperceptible, but something's off and people know it. People know it. And this is what one of the lessons that this friend and client saw was, you know what? This guy was making mistakes in what he was doing. I shared it with him. He gave me pushback and I stayed quiet for the last couple of years over it. And deep down, he knew that he should have been more forceful with the person. So speaking our truth, the lesson here is it's important to speak our truth. And when we don't speak our truth, not only does it create a wedge in relationships that we're not speaking our truth to, something else happens. And what happens is that our words lose their power because we're not being honest. Something intuitively we should say, but we're not saying it, or we're saying something different, which is really not, it's less than truthful. It's our words lose their power. They don't carry the same vibration. They don't carry the same frequency. They don't carry the same magnetism that they otherwise would if we were speaking our truth. And then the third piece of this is when we don't speak our truth comes from our intuition. I mean, we can make the argument that some of it's thinking, hey, I logically think this is what I should say, but I don't. For the most part, though, I think our best source of information is our intuition. And when we ignore our intuition, then we start losing the connection to that intuition, and we don't sense it as well. There's static there, and that ripples throughout our life. And it's not a lot of fun to go through life not being able to sense or feel or connect to our intuition. So speaking our truth, I would I guess, challenge you. Yeah, I'll challenge you. Here's a challenge. This is my truth. I want to challenge you to identify one important relationship that you've got where you're not speaking your truth. And think about how would that relationship potentially change and improve if you spoke your truth. Another piece of that would be, how much better could your life be if you were more in tune with your intuition? And you can get in tune by speaking your truth more. So those are some thoughts today. I hope this was beneficial. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to share. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Be well, my friends.